This isn't awkward at all.
Well, we're here with Jason again, and today we're going to talk about something. We're deviating from jumping a little bit, and we're going to get into some steep tech.
Yeah, we're going to talk about catch berms. It allows you something to catch yourself, catch your speed, catch your control, catch your, your change of direction, whatever it is you're catching. So, you have a classic catch berm, but I mean, there's also, things where you might come off of a steep section of trail into, just a flat, like old road or whatever it be, and you've got to catch that momentum and then carry on. And sometimes there's just a transition from going vertical to horizontally on a trail that there isn't much there, and you're really trying to find anything to catch you, be it a stump or a root. And so, sometimes when you're riding, you're just looking for that thing, and it's not necessarily like, hey, look at me, this big shiny berm,
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to look at catch berms, but I mean, it's really about a technique of how do you manage when you're on a steep descent and you have to work into a major change in speed or direction. So, you got berms,
Yes.
We talk about what a catch berm and stuff, but what's interesting is, you take a berm in general, and it basically allows you to take a corner faster than you could already take it, right?
My understanding is that at some point it's arresting your speed, so you probably have to have quite a bit of speed coming into it.
Yeah, because you could take the berm word out of it, because this is a catch berm, but you could take out the berm and now it's a catch. We need to catch ourselves from, I'm not going to say barreling out of control, but, if you're going to, let's say you're on a steep like this and you need to turn,
Yeah.
if there's nothing there, it's going to be really hard to make that turn and control your speed and catch yourself to make that transition from going vertically down to horizontally across. So this can be a pretty high speed descent, and this is pretty steep. I don't know how it's going to look on camera, but so through all this, it's pretty bumpy, and you've got a dip right here. You're going to be very passive and riding in your passive, forward, loose, centered over, over the bike. And then you're going to really want to focus on that transition into this corner and off the brakes, outside foot pressure, turning of the hips. I'm going to demo it first on like the line that you can see everybody does, which is this inside line, which does tighten the turn and actually creates more important that you get the pressure for the catch. So, we're talking about catch berms today, but we're also, the big thing about this series was speed. You'll notice the one thing I did there was you can hear me braking, and then as soon as I transitioned into the corner, I was completely off the brakes, even though it's steep. And then I'll re-brake when I'm on a straightaway again. So that allows traction and to make that transition into the catch.
Woo! Did I catch the berm?
Yeah, you did great. You actually, I would say, you could have braked a little bit harder right at the end and been off the brakes a little sooner. You were still braking in the turn.
Okay.
I mean, this is more about, proper cornering. This catch is a great catch berm, even though it's a big, long straight into it. So,
Okay.
Really what you're able to do with this is perfect it. Focused on, the braking, the control, and making that body transition. Woo! Coming in hot. It's tough when you're coaching to find like wherever you're riding at the perfect thing. This is a catch, but it actually still ends up, this is pretty steep after it. So it's not totally catching you off as much as S-ing down the trail. But I know of a catch that like catches you. And so I think we should go take a look at it.
All right, I'm excited to see something new.
This is a true catch. Would you call this a berm? I don't know about that, but it definitely is going to use all the key things that we do to, use a catch to carry our speed. So the big thing to think about is this is where you're going to be braking to keep your speed and control as best you can. This is where you're going to regain composure. So you'll be back on the bike here, and then you're going to want to regain into your base to make this turn and press into it. It just goes off straight, and yeah, the back tire tries to make the turn because that's where all the weight is.
Right.
But they're off the back of the bike and they just blow the front end. Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's not me today.
Nope, that's
Well,
not you.
let's find out.
If all else fails, our ridiculousness trying to move around on this to film it should show how steep it is.
Oh, this is sketchy. Woo! What was that about people not making the turn? Help, please.
Okay. I got a couple things for you.
Gotta be a self-sufficient woman here. Get this thing up. No, I totally
She's got it.
got a good strategy here. There we go.
So I think that was great. You slowed down, and yeah, I think when you're on your bike, all of a sudden you have a realization of what this really is. And now you can see how much it has to catch you. And you were able to go really slow, but you basically stood straight up even as you started to make that. And you need to think about it like a corner still. And you got to think about when you come down into that, that's where you want to press.
Nope. Well, you know what I think is happening too is that you have all these janky roots right here. And you kind of come into this, and I think this root mass throws me off a little bit.
So what you want to look at, you come around this, and what you want to look at is the catch, whereas you're looking at the roots right now.
Yeah.
So I want you to come down, you're in your position for this decline, going down, and then I want you to be focused on where is my catch and how do I want to go into it. So right about when your tire's almost to them, you should already be starting to be off that front brake a bit more and leaning in and forward to the turn, because as soon as you go off that root, you're going to hit that dirt and it's going to catch and hold you if you've got the lean in the turn.
Gotcha.
You're staying up straight and
Yeah.
not committing to a turn and that catch.
No one told me there were gonna be roots in the turn. This isn't awkward at all.
There it is.
Yes. I had to just not let the roots get in my head that much and just pretend they weren't there.
Yeah, like we talked about, focus on where you're going to make your cut rather than focusing on the roots, because the catch is what you need. You don't, the roots really don't matter.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, when I first saw it, coming down, you're like, wow, I really don't want to corner on those roots. So you think about just going straight over the roots, but then it's too late.
Yeah, this time you finally leaned and then everything was there and you felt how it grabbed you and pulled you around the turn.
Yeah.
You still skidded a little, but I mean, that's fine because you had the control to let it catch your momentum and change the direction. And that's what you're looking for.
Okay, so you went out here and then
Jesus criminy!
that was, I think that was a much better line.
Yeah, I honestly wished you would have rolled it out because you were only skidding to like stop before the roll off.
Gotcha.
I would have loved to have seen the speed you carried all the way through that. That was really good.
Thanks.
I don't know, it looked really good from here.
So I'm really curious to see the actual footage because I feel like maybe I got kind of far back on the catch part and I probably should have been more forward. I felt like I was maybe sitting a bit, but.
You went through it so fast, I didn't see everything either, but you made the transition and opening that corner up probably allowed you to maybe be able to be back a little more because you didn't have to make such an aggressive turn at the catch. You were able to open up the catch. But again, I had a weird angle and the tree was right here, so. It looked good from my angle of, I don't have built-in slow-mo and reverse and whatever. You would have carried tremendous speed out that exit.
All right.
Which,
we like tremendous speed.
I mean, imagine if this was a race and like from the first time to this time, the difference it would have made. Okay.
Okay.
Dude. All right. Whoa.
How'd that outside line go?
There's some slow-mo shit for you. Did you catch that?
I caught a couple things today, actually.
Oh, good, good. So I think some of the key things to remember with catch berms is one, we know that we're transitioning from like a steep to changing direction. So we want to really focus on what we're going to use to catch us, to make that transition from riding a steep into a corner to create more of a horizontal direction. So, key thing is look for your spot that you're going to make your transition and what's going to catch you. And then remembering to move from your descending position into your cornering position and creating that outside foot pressure, moving the hips if you need to, depending on if the catch is still off camber. And then I think the third thing is remembering that, to get the most out of that transition, that's that split second you want to be off the brakes and let those tires grip with the compression of going from your descending and the compression that's created by hitting that catch and using that traction to its full stability.
Well, I think that if you can put it in your head that you can catch on a flat, you can catch on a berm.
Oh yeah, berms
So
are
if you can
easy.
find that flat thing to
Yeah.
practice on, because that was really confidence inspiring for me.
Yeah.
That anytime I see a berm, I'll feel even better about it.
Or a root that's the right direction, or a ridge in the trail, maybe just a little ridge where everybody else is skidding and they're creating that cut mark. That might be your catch.
Other things to
You might bring your front tire inside of it and push the back into it and use that as your catch.
Right.
It's surprising the ways you can, when you really start getting into it. So a big thing is like looking for those catches.
Yeah.
Because they could be anything, especially when you don't know the trails.
Well, let's remember this, because if we can get out to Predator at some point, maybe you can show me things on Predator that I can be pushing off of like we practice here.
Yeah, I would hope so. I'm trying to think back, I haven't ridden Predator a lot, but I don't know if there's any like real legit catches on that trail.
But maybe there's like a rocker route or something. There's a lot of stuff.
So what's interesting is, we can start getting a little deeper into this, and sometimes this is what you're using, not even necessarily to, because it's a steep into a flat, but you might start realizing the things that you can make a cut on a trail at speed off of that isn't a corner or a berm, but you're using something to catch your momentum so you can change direction.
Right.
So you take this and then you can start using it. Let's say we're going a flat spotted Predator and the trail is a slow turn, but we really want to make that transition and get that movement to carry our speed. You might use any little thing on the trail to create that cut and press and create, and it's catching your momentum and letting you shift it to another direction.
Gotcha.
So, it really does progress into more things when you're riding.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this is a good start.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.